Hello, my name is Rita Joosten, and I work here in the greenhouses at Emseni Farming. I grew up here on the mission. My dad is the manager of the farming side of KwaSizabantu. He started the farming industry with Reverend Stegen when he had the vision to start greenhouses. My dad started it up with him. I look after the plants. I also do insect scouting to see what pests there are in the greenhouse and what biologicals we put in and what the balances of each, the quantities, if we need to add more biologicals. But then I'm also learning the technical side of the greenhouses from the greenhouse manager. I'm his apprentice, so I'm learning the technical side as well.
So I'm here with Rita. It's such an honor to meet you. Can you please just tell us, I know this is one of how many, what do you call them, hangars?
No, so this is one of 11 greenhouses.
Okay.
We're sitting with 11 hectares of greenhouses, and they're all hydroponic. So the greenhouse we're currently standing in is actually a project with 3 phases. So this is currently phase 1, which consists of 3 hectares. We're busy building the second phase, which is another 3 hectares. We're hoping to plant it in beginning of October, that the first fruit is in by December. And then phase 3, we're not sure when that will come up, but it will be maybe in another 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so they are currently here. This is phase 1. So do you replant them, or how does it work?
Yes, so we plant all year round. The peppers harvesting a season is roughly 1 year. It all depends on the height of a greenhouse. So pepper plant is a creeper plant, and it's like a pumpkin plant, and the twine is there just to support the plant itself. So depending on the height of the greenhouse, the higher the greenhouse, the longer your picking period. Once the plant has reached the top,
and it does?
Yes, it does, which is after about a year. These grow to 5.5 meters. So after a year, we take out the plants. So you can see there's a small grow bag on top of the big grow bag.
Yeah.
So they cut just below the small grow bag. And the plant itself we send to our compost site where we create compost power ever fields. And then we come in and we replant, and we just place a new small block on top of the big block of the year. And that we rotate. Every house is a different month that we clean out, so that we've got production all year round. One advantage that we have is we do heating, which is these wide pipes that run in between the lines. And that gives us an advantage that we also can produce through winter period, because there are farmers that stop over the winter period because the plants, they just don't perform. So the heating allows us to keep the greenhouse at a minimum of 16 degrees. Production is slow because radiation reduces to about half during winter, and light is very, very vital. Many people think if we've got heating, it's fine, but very, very vital we found now is light. So, I mean, it can be a sunny day in winter, but radiation is just not strong.
Did you study this, or is it learn as you go?
So I learn as I go. I'm not very gifted at studying. I think I take after my uncles who were twins, and they were study 10 minutes, take half an hour break, and I think I took after them. I'm not very good with studying. I'm more gifted, I think, more in practical things. So I learn as I go, and I learn from mistakes. I do make mistakes, and of course I learn from them, and I know don't do this again. But I did do 2 courses online with a Dutch company, about 3 months. The one was just on greenhouse management, how to run a greenhouse. And then the second course was on fertigation, just to learn how fertilizer works, how to mix fertilizers. Yeah.
Okay. So you spoke about bugs. So I cannot imagine how a bug can actually come in here. But obviously, I call it bugs. I don't know, maybe you've got a nicer name for them. But I'm quite sure they are also part of the whole process.
Yes. So we never, in the beginning, we didn't use any form of biologicals, insects. We used to spray chemicals. And then my dad saw, once you spray chemicals, after a few days, the plant shows signs of stress. And a stressed plant has weak roots, and weak roots means disease. They contract disease very easily. So then we were introduced to a company called Coppet, and they sell insects and any form of biological, whether it, for drenching and spraying. So we've got a few different kind of biologicals we put in, but our main one is mite. And they come in forms of a sachet. So there are about 250 in here.
My goodness. So
it's a tiny little spider, and so we import them from Holland. And they crawl out of that little slit, and they live on the plants, and they help control your pests. So there's a certain pest that damages the flower, and can also cause browning on the top of the fruit. So this mite goes and kills them. There's a different mite that we put in the grow bags that keeps the roots clean and healthy. And if there's any eggs that a fungus net lays in there, they eat the eggs and the larvae of the fungus net. There's a wasp that we let go that actually mummifies a certain pest and lays its eggs in the mummified pest. There's ladybugs, so there's a whole different variety of insects that we put in. I didn't study anything, and I didn't do any science subjects at school because I always thought I will never need the sciences. But I said if I ever have to study something, it would be entomology, because it's so fascinating to see these insects.
absolutely, yes.
I enjoy watching the wasp work. It actually goes and feels with its antenna and smells for the bugs, and if it finds a pest, it'll go and it'll sting it quite a few times, and it moves on to the next one and stings it. Very fascinating to watch.
This little flying assassin.
I stand to be corrected, but the Reverend was in Holland, and he was flying, and he saw all these greenhouses, and he got the idea of why don't we try and set up greenhouses as well. And the Reverend and my dad, they did try it with greenhouses, and that's where my dad came into the picture. So he was introduced to a Dutch man at a symposium, and that Dutch man became my dad's mentor. So a lot of what we do here in the greenhouses is how the Dutch people do it. So we look at them, we ask them for advice, see how they do it. It started off, the farming industry started off with veggie fields, and then we got our very first small net house, and the plants grew to my height. And then I'm not sure about the dates there, I'd have to find out, but I think it was the 1980s, 1990s, my dad imported his very first greenhouse. It was a glass house, a second-hand from Germany. But now we live in a hail belt, so after every hailstorm, the glass would break. And then 2000, he was introduced to the Israeli company called Netafim, and that's where from whom we bought our very first plastic greenhouse. And then it grew from there. And it was just half hectares. In 2007, we upgraded to a 1 hectare, and that's where the idea of rail pipes in between, that's where it started in that greenhouse. And then in 2014, a 4 hectare project was opened. In 2016, another 2 hectares. And every time my dad would say, that's enough, we'll have too much. He doesn't think another greenhouse will come up in his lifetime. And we just didn't have enough to supply all the demand. And then this greenhouse was put up during COVID. And we even thought we'll have surplus, we'll never have enough. And we still struggled to fill all the orders. So we're really looking forward to the next greenhouses. So it started there just as humble farmers with a small net house, and that's how it grew with the Lord's blessing. Yes. And so I'm actually 4th generation farmer. There's already 5th, the great-grandchildren, they're already inspired to become farmers. So my great-grandfather was a maize meal farmer, my grandfather was a sugarcane farmer, and then my dad did pepper and avos, and I'm there now in the peppers side.
Fascinating. And you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life?
Yes, definitely. I can't see myself in an office in a closed building. The way the Lord created us people is actually very similar to how He created a pepper plant. There's something I didn't tell you, but something that is very unique about a pepper plant is it's very humble. And it's of the only humble plants, veggies or fruit that you find, because it's the only one where it hangs the cup of its flower. The flower, you will find very, very few looking up to the sun. All of them hang their cup, and we like to say because they're humble. As soon as you find a flower that raises its head to the sun, because it's proud and it wants to show off, you know the fruit from that flower will be second grade. It'll be deformed. And there the Lord teaches one that if you want to have good fruit in your life, you have to do everything in humility. As soon as you show off and you want people to notice and you do everything proudfully, then the outcome of it won't be a blessing. It won't be good fruit. And then as well, insects, something that spoke to me and the Lord revealed to me is the pests in the greenhouse, they're tiny, but they do a lot of damage. There's one that's the size of the mite. It's very, very small, but once that one gets in, it's very difficult to kill it, and it does a lot of damage. And many things in life, many sins, you might think, it's so small, it won't do anything, or the way I reacted there, or whatever, that's nothing. But at the end, it's those little things that can damage you a lot. And they add up, and they do a lot of damage in your life. And the biologicals we put in, they're also tiny. And you might think, this little thing, a smile to that worker, what will that do? Let me walk past. But one doesn't realize the good in life, no matter how small, can have a great impact on people. One never knows what a person goes through. So even a smile might change their whole day. One doesn't know what they come with, what burden they're carrying. So no matter what small thing you do to try and help someone else, it can have a great impact.